and the Vernon Police Department. Columbus police continue the search for a burglary suspect. Monday, officers interrupted a burglary in progress on Alabama Street in East Columbus. They got a call from an alert neighbor. They detained one person at the scene, but one suspect got away. Investigators have not released a name, but they have described the suspect as a black male in his mid-30s who they say is from the West Point area. If you have any information on the suspect or the burglary, call the Columbus Police Department or Golden Triangle Crime Stoppers. Those numbers are there on your screen. 2 people are in the hospital and 1 person is in jail after a head-on collision in Monroe County. The crash happened Monday afternoon around 2 o'clock on Wolf Road. 2 people had to be taken to area hospitals. 1 was taken to Amory. The other was airlifted to Tupelo. 32-year-old Jacob Allen Holcomb was arrested at the scene. He's charged with 2 counts of aggravated DUI. The Mississippi Highway Patrol is assisting the Monroe County Sheriff's Office with this investigation. Holcomb is in the Monroe County Jail awaiting a bond hearing. A woman in Tupelo is facing charges in connection with the death of her 5-year-old child. We told you about this yesterday. One of the charges that 27-year-old Brianna Young is facing is child deprivation of necessities with substantial harm. We've called in our legal analyst, Jeff Hosford, to help us work through exactly what this means. Jeff, thanks so much for joining us. So what can you tell us about this charge?
Well, basically, it varies. It's a pretty broad charge. It can be anything from shooting at a child, choking a child, not feeding a child, not providing clothing, among those things. The more serious it is, obviously choking, shooting, physically torturing a child, those kind of things carry 5 years to life in prison. Lesser included charges are 2 to 10 years. That'd be something like physical abuse to a child or harming a child in some way that didn't cause permanent harm.
In this particular case, which obviously you don't have any individual knowledge of, but the mother in this case is also charged with I believe child neglect, which you also mentioned, and so police are continuing that investigation. And we could see other charges in the case, but this particular charge that we're talking about with the deprivation, you say has a penalty of minimum 5 years?
A minimum of 5 years and up to life, depending on the severity of that. For example, if you're shooting at a child or you're physically striking a child with a whip or you're choking a child, those kind of things carry 5 years to life. Not providing the necessities, that carries up to 5 years. For example, food, shelter, those kind of things. If you physically strike a child causing temporary harm, that can be up to 5 years. Scarring a child permanently or disfiguring a child is also 5 years to life.
All right, Jeff, as always, we appreciate your perspective. Of course, that's a case we will continue to follow. We'll turn things over now to Ashley to get a first look at our forecast.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Andrea. Well, it has been a fairly calm day out there. Temperatures got a little bit warm. It's been humid, and now as we're heading into our Wednesday night, we're starting to see this next system make its way into Mississippi, just now reaching our western border of the state. Temperatures continue to be warm out there, situated in the low to mid 70s. It's 70 degrees right now. Aberdeen and Tupelo, 71 in West Point, 72 in Oxford and at the Columbus Air Force Base, 73 degrees in Starkville. We will continue to see these storms pushing across Mississippi as we head through the night, possibly with a severe risk. Nice end to our week, but more rain is on the way for our weekend. Andrea.
All right, Ashley, thanks a lot. The city of Starkville's public pool is drowning in problems that could drain the city's recreation budget. The pool at Moncrief Park is around 70 years old and is leaking badly. The Board of Aldermen has given 3 options: a full overhaul to the pool and surrounding building, patching the leak to get through at least the upcoming season, or shutting the pool down altogether. For now, the decision is to do the temporary repairs and have the pool open for the upcoming summer. City leaders also see a shift in recreation habits of city residents, so they are reaching out to the community for feedback about Moncrief's pool's long-term future.
Yes, it'll be a decision that I think is a community decision, and we'll do our best to see if we can reach out to the community and hear from them about it. Again, you know, times change. I grew up swimming. Swimming used to be a big thing, but it has gradually become less so, I think, community-wide, I'll put it that way, because again, splash pads, baseball, people are changing how they do their recreation. We've now gone to a year-round school, which changes the dynamics of having, you know, basically 3 months of playing in the pool.
Now, the cost of overhauling the pool and pool house is estimated to be between $400,000 and $500,000. Meanwhile, a proposal for the home pickup of recycling in Starkville gets kicked to the curbside, at least for now. Ward 5 Alderman Hamp Beatty brought a curbside recycling proposal before the full board Tuesday night. His plan called for twice monthly home pickup of recyclable materials that would add an extra $6 to participants' sanitation bill. Starkville currently has drop-off recycling available. Board members' main concerns centered around cost. There were also concerns about where the recycled materials would end up. The board took no action on the plan. The water is flowing again and the pipes are working in Louisville. Here's an update to a story we've been following for you. December frigid temperatures meant frozen pipes around North Mississippi into Alabama. And when the pipes began to thaw, there were leaks everywhere. The drop in water pressure affected around 3,500 people there in the town of Louisville. Mayor Will Hill says this crisis taught them a few lessons, and now the water seems to be running better than before.
I feel privileged to represent this city, and the fact that too, I can tell with testimony that this is a resilient community, as is probably every community. But it shows what a community is about when everyone comes together. Obviously, we have to ask for patience and understanding in circumstances or situations that are not planned. You react, you respond to a crisis. This was a crisis.
Says he's also thankful for the people who work long hours to get the water running again there. Well, parents and teachers in the Lowndes County School District are planning now for the next school year because they'll be under a newly adopted calendar. The Lowndes County School Board, as you know, adopted a modified school calendar. It will begin in the 2023-24 school term. One of the biggest changes is a 2-week intersession break in October and another in March. District leaders are working on ideas and plans for the 2 weeks of intersession. Superintendent Sam Allison says this modified schedule will not be a one-size-fits-all approach to the 9 schools throughout the district.
For that, it's a small percentage that will serve during that time, but once we get the numbers, we'll staff it based on the numbers of people that come back, and I'll leave that mainly up to our principals on how they want to. Every building will be different. Some will, they'll approach their teachers, but I think first we'll look at the, which teachers are interested, and then we'll look at the need for teachers.
So classes next school year will start the last week of July and will run through the end of May. The upcoming school calendar is available if you'd like to see it on our website. Meanwhile, schools nationwide are racking up a lot of debt to feed hungry students. The median district has more than $5,000 in lunch debt. That's according to the School Nutrition Association. In some areas, unpaid balances reach as high as $1.7 million. Skyrocketing costs are just one of the many challenges. Congress ended a pandemic-era program last fall that paid for all student meals regardless of income. Meg Oliver brings us the very latest on this.
Here you go. What are you getting, cutie?
At Makefield Elementary, Afifa Benjamin serves up cheeseburgers, sweet peas, and
Hot dogs and bologna, hanging with my...
a few lyrics for the lunch crowd.
These kids are family to me.
The Pennsbury School District in Yardley, Pennsylvania has more than 9,000 students. 30% qualify for free or reduced school meals.
Are kids coming through this lunch line with trays full of food and no money in their account?
Yep. The federal waivers providing free school lunches nationwide during the pandemic expired in September.
You guys want cheese?
A new study shows school meal programs are at risk with rising costs and supply chain issues.
How high is your student lunch debt?
At the moment, it's $65,000.
Why is it so high?
I think families are having to decide whether they are going to pay their electric bill or pay for their students to eat meals.
Kimberly Steffi is the Director of Financial Services for the district. They're fortunate to have private donors pay their debt, allowing them to continue providing breakfast and lunch to every student, even if they can't afford it.
If you're a district that doesn't have these great donations coming in, what happens?
Those districts will have to take resources from their general fund to pay for the debt.
Nationwide, student lunch debt tops $19 million. Some districts are so desperate they've resorted to lunch shaming in the past, offering kids a cold sandwich instead of a hot meal or banning them from school events if they carry a balance. Lori Atkins is president of the School Nutrition Association, who's urging Congress to permanently pass free school meals for every student.
We're really concerned about making sure that all hunger kids have access to food during the school day.
The current federal program pays schools back for each student meal served based on income levels. As part of a bipartisan bill last summer, Congress raised the reimbursement rate by 40 cents for lunch, but the program is set to expire in June.
Do you think Congress realizes how many students go hungry every day?
No. Somebody needs to let them know.
What's your message to them?
Every kid needs to get fed.
Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
Now, according to the USDA, more than 9 million children in America are food insecure, and the past few years has only pushed that number higher. All right, it's a fun adventure searching for animal tracks. Some great tips from Dr. John Long as we head next to nature when WCBI News at 5 returns.
Telling your story on WCBI News at 5 with Andrea Sell.
Welcome back. There's a lot to learn in the great outdoors, and you can learn a lot from what lurks out there. Here's Winston Reed and Dr. John Long with Next to Nature.
All right, so Dr. John Long says that animal footprints are a great way to learn about wildlife, especially for beginners. I'm Winston Reed, this is Dr. John Long, and this is Next to Nature. All right, Dr. Long, we're talking about animal footprints, so just start us off. Where do we begin with this?
Well, I think that going out in the outdoors, getting out into nature, and looking for animal tracks is a great way to introduce a young person to outdoors, as well as educate yourself on exactly what animals leave what tracks.
And you said an area like this, very wet, very muddy, is a great way to find those animal footprints, correct?
Absolutely. It's an area just like this right here where it's wet and you have mud holes. Where when they walk across a lane like this, you're going to see where they've left their mark. Mm-hmm. And I just, me myself, as many times as I've seen tracks, it's almost like a treasure hunt, just to find the different tracks and to observe different animals.
And so far, we found deer tracks and a bobcat footprint.
That's
as
correct,
well, right?
and we didn't get 10 feet off the road, so that you don't have to go deep in the woods to find these tracks.
And you said like teachers and anybody can take and mold these footprints and show to their classroom or just have it as a souvenir, right?
Absolutely. Animal tracks are a great educational tool. Right now it would be hard to make a mold of one, but if you find a good track when it's dry, you can take plaster of Paris and pour it into that track, let it dry, and then pry it out of there, and you can show, or take it to a classroom and show the students an actual track of a deer or a hog or a turkey or anything like that.
Great idea for teachers. Thank you, Dr. John Long.
Yeah.
This is Next to Nature. We'll see you next time.
This line of showers and storms is continuing to make its way into the deep south. I'll have more details as we head into our forecast after the break.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Ashley Bryant.
All right, we are here. Let's go ahead and switch it over to actually links 2 if we can. We are talking about our severe weather heading our way as we continue through our Wednesday night. That line making its way towards us as we continue into our evening and overnight hours. We are starting to see those storms make their way onto our western border now. Eventually, it'll push its way across Mississippi. We are still split between that level 1 and level 2 risk across northern Mississippi this evening. Gusty winds, heavy rain, definitely likely. We are on the lower end of that confidence for hail and tornadoes, but we can't go without saying it's not impossible. So we are, of course, we are here. We are watching it as we head through the night. And that being said, we also have a tornado watch sticking around for our western counties until 8 p.m. tonight. That's Carroll, Montgomery, Grenada, Yalobusha, and Lafayette counties as we head through the night. We may see that watch be extended further east. We may not. Of course, again, Isaac and I are here. We are watching that as we continue through the night. This system will work its way in and across the entire state of Mississippi as we head overnight tonight. By 11 to midnight, we will see that system working its way towards eastern Mississippi and western Alabama, eventually clearing off to the east further as we head into our Thursday morning a little bit further. By 5 to 7, this system will make its way out of western Alabama, taking the rain, the showers, the storms, and the clouds with it off to the east. We've got a high pressure system there working its way in from the west, keeping us clear as we continue through majority of our Thursday and most of our Friday. We will see a little bit of that cloud coverage sticking around to the southern portions of the state, while the northern portions of Mississippi are staying a little bit clearer as we continue into Friday and further into our weekend. Right now, temperatures sit in the upper 60s to middle 70s, 70 in Columbus and Aberdeen, 73 in Starkville, 71 in West Point, 72 right now in Oxford. Tonight, 55 is our overnight low temperature. With those showers and storms continuing, we'll see it clearing out early Thursday morning. Looking ahead over the next several days, temperatures on Thursday, upper 60s. We'll see middle 50s by Friday, continuing those low to middle 50s through the weekend into next week. Round 3 of rain heading our way on Saturday. Andrea.
All right, Ashley, thanks a lot. A local football player signed his letter of intent to play at the next level, but his college football career will look different than most. Cam will have that story when we come back.
Cool. I'm sorry. Not now, you said?
Telling your story on WCBI Sports with Cam Dyer.
Heritage Academy's Luke Fisher has been around the military for as long as he can remember, but football is what led him to the Air Force Academy. Luke Fisher has been around the Air Force his entire life. His dad, Jay, is a retired colonel in the United States Air Force, but Luke never thought about following in his father's footsteps until the Air Force coaching staff came calling.
When I decided I wanted to play college football, or that I wanted to try to, I had no intention of going to the service academy. You know, I wanted to go somewhere where I could get my education paid for and play football at the same time.
Air Force was the first team to recruit Fisher, but Army and Navy weren't far behind. It's a big decision to attend a military academy, but right when Fisher stepped on campus, he knew the service is where he was meant to be.
I was kind of skeptical. I didn't know if that was in for me. Like, I wasn't really sure. But going out to the Air Force Academy and going to the Naval Academy and seeing the people that are there, and then just personally knowing people that are in the military really sealed it for me.
And there's no doubt that he'll thrive in Colorado Springs.
He already had the qualities that it's going to take to be successful there, the drive, the dedication, and a commitment to be something or be part of something bigger than yourself.
Luke's final 3 schools he chose from were the military academies. Jay made a concerted effort not to influence his decision, but he couldn't hide his excitement when Luke picked Air Force.
And he was smiling ear to ear, and he was super excited. He had his words about Air Force Academy and how much it means to be in the Air Force and the military, but he also did a great job of letting me be me and choosing my own path.
Not only did Luke decide where he's going to continue his football career, but going to the Air Force includes a 5-year commitment to service after graduation, which is a big choice for a senior in high school to make. However, it was a no-brainer and was way simpler than having to pick a football team to play for.
The decision to commit to 5 years after, college it was probably the easiest between the 2 decisions.
Luke's talent on the field speaks for itself, but everyone associated with him raves about the same thing, how he's a great young man, which makes him a perfect fit at the academy.
I know where he's going to Air Force. There'll be a lot of outstanding players, but a lot of outstanding character guys, and he's going to add to that, and that's the thing that I'm the most proud of, because the United States is getting a winner.
Reporting in Columbus, Cam Dyer, WCBI Sports.